Hi everyone, it's Margaret with Creative Stamping with Margaret. Today we're focusing on the Circle Saying bundle. This is one of the cards from the June 2023 card class, and some of you may have ordered a kit to go, so pull out your kit and follow along as you assemble this card. If you did not order a kit to go, I will go over some of the materials that we're using for the card, and I have the dimensions listed in the description of the video below. You will need to order the Circle Saying bundle to complete this kit or this card if you ordered the kit. And you can do that by visiting my website and click on Shop Now, and then just in the search bar put Circle Saying bundle and it should come right up. Today's card is a thank you card, and we're doing using the seashell stamp that is in the Circle Saying stamp set and the thank you from that. So let's get started. The materials that we're using, I'm using the Pebbled Path Cardstock as our card base. You'll need 2 pieces of the basic white cardstock, and you'll see on the inside I carried that theme through, and I also did it on the flap of the envelope. So those are just a couple things for you to note. So we can put the one for the interior aside. I'll do that one later. And then you'll also need a piece of 4 by 2.5 designer series paper. This designer series paper is from the new In Colors 2023-2025. Make sure I get those dates right. In Color 6x6 pack, but of course you could select any color that you would want. You'll also need a square of the Pebbled Path, and this square is roughly a 3-inch square, because that you're going to use to die cut with the Stylish Shapes. Let me pull that in. This is the Stylish Shapes dies, and this is the second to the largest, and that is our layering panel for the sentiment. And I've already prepared one, so I'm going to pull that in. You'll also need the embossing folders, and the embossing folder that I used is from the Basics 3D embossing folder set. In another one of the cards from this series, I used another of the embossing folders, but for this one I'm using the one that looks like it could be flowers, little stars. I actually thought it sort of mirrored, because it's a 5-point the starfish, so that's why I'm using that. But these 3D embossing folders, the Basics 3D, are wonderful. There's 3 in the series. They are online exclusive only, so they're not in the catalog. So you need to go online and look for those under the embossing folders or the online exclusive tabs that's there. And I have already prepared mine for our card assembly. And then you'll need a piece of white, and that is so that you can use the 2 3/8 inch punch that is part of the bundle to punch that circle. And as I've mentioned in the other videos showcasing this Circle Saying stamp set, I recommend that you punch first and then stamp. The way these line up, it's a little bit easier to do it that way. So now that we have all of our materials ready, let's go ahead and burnish our card base and get these layers put together, and then I will go over the inks that you're going to need. And as noted earlier, all of the materials are listed in the description. So if you're unsure, just check the description of this video to look at all of the materials. So now we have that base ready. So the next step is we will do our stamping. And you'll bring in your Memento Black, and I'm using that to stamp the outline of the seashells as well as the sentiment. But before I stamp that sentiment, let's stamp the seashells. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp in the corner of my card interior. And the flap of my envelope. Of course, you could put it on the front of your envelope if you desire. Now let's pull in our thank you. That's it for those inks. Next, we're using blends, the stamping blends, to color. And the selection that I chose, they're all the light blends. And I'm using the light Crumb Cake, light Pebbled Path, light Copper Clay, light Wild Wheat, light Boho Blue, and light Moody Mauve. All of these are the new in colors, except for, of course, the Crumb Cake. So we will start with Crumb Cake, and I've used Crumb Cake on this largest starfish. Of course, you could color them all the same color if you wanted, or not color them at all. But I just decided that I liked having each one a little bit different color. Because as you know, seashells come in a variety of colors. And of course, coloring with the blends, we're not doing shading because it's just such small images. You could if you wanted, but I did not think it was necessary. Next, we're pulling in the Pebbled Path light, and we're going to color the little swirly one. And don't worry, even though it looks dark, it will lighten up a little when it dries. But if it's too dark, just take your color lifter and brush over it, and that will lift some of that color and make this one look a little bit lighter. Next, we're moving on to our copper clay, and I'm using it for the little seashell at the end. I've had a lot of fun with this stamp set. I've been using a lot of blends, coloring the different images. They really makes for a lot of fun. Now we're moving to our wild wheat, and we're doing the other starfish, making him a little bit more golden in color. And then the shell that is right next to him, that's sort of an arc shell, we'll use the mauve on. Then, of course, last but not least, we're using the boho blue, and the two remaining shells I'm coloring with that particular color, and that ties into the boho blue designer series paper piece that I selected. Of course, if you wanted to use another base color or another DSP color, you could absolutely do so, just using this same concept to come up with a whole series of cards. And I realized I didn't go and finish on the flap of my envelope, the coloring, but I can do that after I do this video. I think you get the idea of how to color using the blends on these seashells. But while I have the blue, let me just do that one quickly. It really does go quickly. That's what's nice. You cut up a lot of the pieces that you need and have kits, and it makes assembly a lot faster when you're ready to make the cards. So for this, I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive on the back of my sentiment panel, and we're going to center that on the Pebbled Path die cut using the Stylish Shapes die. I had to look back and see what it was called. And then we'll add this to the card front using Stamping Dimensionals. And I'm putting an extra one. I'll move this one over. Put one in the center. Definitely want it to hold well on this embossed piece. That's why I like to use the liquid glue when I'm using those heavily embossed pieces. There on the right portion, we'll add that. And then we'll finish off by using some of the in color dots. And of course, I'm staying with the same color family that I used. And this is the Pebbled Path in color dots. And they are all 5 colors come in the one set, and that set is called the 2023 through 2025 in color dots. So if you're looking to order those, that's what you would look for. And I'm just placing these here. Our embellishments to finish that. There we have completed the front of our card. And now let's just, while I have this finished, let's just add our interior panel. So there is our thank you card, our Circle Sayings thank you card. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and learning how to make this card. Again, my name is Margaret Knight, Creative Stamping with Margaret. Thanks for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your day.